Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, October 10th. It is 5:56 right now. Our target entry is going to be right here at 6 o'clock. I was looking to get into these earlier entries, but I started to realize that, due to the government shutdown, the volatility is like extremely low. So like the problem with taking a trade like super early, like at 5 a.m., is that it's going to go into like limbo and draw down back and forth for a really long time. And the thing is with these momentum trades, you don't really want to hold on to them for that long, right? You want them to hit within like, 10, 20 to 40 minutes, if not less, 10 minutes or so. And the problem is that at 5 a.m., the volatility is so low that, you'll be able to hold. I've seen these positions kind of run until like about market open. So that's about like almost a 2 hour hold. So I don't know if I'll be taking these like earlier pre-market trades. I think the earliest I'll take a pre-market trade is around 6 o'clock. Typically on a Friday like this, we would usually have news like around 5:30, so it causes, some volatility in the market. But obviously, lately that just hasn't been the case. So obviously, I'm gonna have to do a little more testing with the pre-market trades. But for the most part, I think I'm gonna try to stick to trades while market is actually open, which is of course going to be like, around 6, 7, 8, etc. If you guys saw my list of trades, there's actually not that many trades that are available. There's not that many trades that are available today because obviously the volatility here is kind of slowing down a little bit. So okay, let's see. I'll put the entries over here between 6 and 8. Yeah, so looking over here at 6 o'clock, it's going to be against momentum. It has a 73.68% win ratio. It won pretty much 2 out of the 3 Fridays. So looking at this so far, it's 5:58 right now. As we get closer to 6 o'clock, it's probably going to be a buy entry, which is probably going to go against the previous entries at 5. So just something to keep in mind if you guys are looking to take the trade here. I will probably get into the 6 o'clock entry. I do think I'm going to take this one here. Again, like I said, the only problem here is that because of the government shutdown, the volatility is a lot lower than it typically is, right? So the thing is, the algo has to adapt with the slower market, and I mean, it's catching up. It's learning. That's why right here you can see there's less entries because I mean, the government shutdown's been going on for about like I think 2 weeks now, and with that being the case. It's just, it has to adapt with the current market conditions, which are a lot slower than usual. So the 6 o'clock entry over here is looking like it's gonna probably be a buy. We'll know in about 2 minutes once we get closer to it. Hey, what's up, Blanco? Morning. Will, morning. Morning, Ben, morning, Maria, morning, Saren, morning, Lila, morning, everybody. I think everybody here should have access to the algo if you do have access to the indicator. So, if you don't have access to it and you do want access to it, just let me know and I can update it in the system. Yeah, I didn't unlock the access for everyone, but basically whoever messaged me their information. So, all right, this is the first entry for today that I'm looking to take 6 o'clock. Again, the momentum here is going to be against it. So we're looking at a possible reversal here. So temporary drops to the downside right here, and then possible reversal back up. But we'll see. I mean, like I said, the volatility here is kind of low, so it might be a little tricky. Might be a little tricky with the entry here, but I'll be looking to take it either way. I mean, there's two that follow up. If you guys don't want to take the 6 o'clock, you guys can take the 6:01 as well. Take another opportunity right there. So basically gonna look for this candle here to close. Once this candle here closes, I'll be looking to get in. It's got about 40 seconds left on the 6 o'clock candle here. And we'll see where this ends up pushing up to. Yeah, it's just, it's the type of market that we're currently in right now. I'm hoping the government shutdown finally ends so that we can have some consistent volatility. Otherwise, the market's probably going to keep staying a little slow. This price continues to, obviously move along here. So we got this candle closing in about 10 seconds. I'm gonna wait until the 6:01 candle, guys. I don't like when the candle here is kind of big. This is kind of what we got caught up in yesterday, right? We got in on the candle that was a little kind of big and it pulled back and it just stopped us out and then it shot up. So I'm gonna wait for the next one. I know I marked up the 6 o'clock, but there's another one right after at 6:01. I'm gonna wait for the following candle right here. Let's feel a little more comfortable waiting for this next one. If you guys want to get in at that six, feel free. I'll just be looking to get in right here on the next one at 6:01. Either way, they should probably follow in line with each other. I mean, they might be at the same entry price, honestly. I don't know if it's gonna. You basically just have two options. It's 6 o'clock or 6:01 right there. Or if anything, I could probably even put a pending order right there to catch it as it comes back down to fill. Or if you want to get in early, you can get in early too. Yeah, so this candle is about to close in about 5 seconds. It looks like it's about to line up around the same area for entry, right? So it's basically around the same entry point, depending on where you got in from, 6 o'clock or 6:01. In the position right there. Filled. Parameters, targets at 67,710. Stop loss is at 46,650. All right, so I'm in profit about 5 points right now, currently running. There we go, right there. Oops. So running in profit right there as price continues to push up a little higher. Like I said, the volatility here is a little low. There's two entries that came up right after each other, one at 6 o'clock, one at 6:01. If you took either one, they kind of came up around the same time. But if you guys are just joining in, like I talked about earlier, guys, the trades before 6 o'clock they're tough to take because the volatility is just not there and it's just very choppy. We're just referring back to the government shutdown. Usually there's news happening at 5:30, so usually the volatility kind of picks up around 5. But because there hasn't been news, um, it's just been kind of flat for the most part, right? So yeah, I'm right here on the 6:01 entry. It's just a point away from the 6 o'clock entry. Depending on which one you decided to enter, there's one at 6 o'clock and there's one at 6:01. I mean, either way, it looks like they're both pushing the same direction. So we are moving against momentum prior. We had a sell momentum here, so we took the buy here against momentum. This basically indicated that we were looking for a reversal at 6 o'clock. So price pretty much pushed up a little bit, retraced between 5 and 6, and then we're looking for the continuation back up higher. It's basically a head and shoulders pattern. There's a shoulder here, a head, and then another shoulder right there as price pushes up. So if you guys are trading patterns or if you're looking at technical analysis or price action, this is basically a head and shoulders pattern. Right, price pushed up, shoulder, head, shoulder, continuation to the upside. The one thing that I have to be aware of is market open right at 6:30. If this trade doesn't hit by 6:30, I'm going to be pulling it out early. So it's just something to keep in mind because the thing is I don't want to get caught in market manipulation. I think the Fed might be speaking today, 6:45. I mean, we'll see. I don't know if this is even going to affect the market very much because, like I said, the government shutdown, there's not as many Fed speakers really speaking or just any news events in general happening. All right, so looks like we're kind of going to be waiting here for a little bit. If you guys didn't sit in on the session yesterday, so yesterday I covered the algo in detail. If you guys want to watch that, that's on the YouTube. I mean, it's also on the Discord as well. So over here under algo, I put the video here for those of you who weren't able to sit in on it. Our trade's currently running 10 points in profit right now. It's almost at the halfway mark. I'm in profit about 240. So. I'm for the most part going to let this trade run. I'm only going to start to make some adjustments or maybe pull out early as we get closer to 6:30, which is market open. But yeah, if you guys didn't sit in on the session yesterday, the replay is available. We went over the algo in detail. I explained my whole process step by step, how I identify these entries, and how do I weed out the better entries from all of the entries in total. So I'm basically looking for, and I'll put the checklist right here. So this is the checklist that we talked about yesterday. The checklist we talked about yesterday was, for the most part, first I identify a time period that I want to trade out, right? So I usually block them out by hours. So like I'll look for trades between 6 and 7, 7 and 8, 8 and 9. I do this so I can find all of the best entries during those time periods. I choose a risk reward ratio. Typically I go between 20/40, 25/50, 30/60, 35/70, 40/80, 40. And basically I go up the risk rewards. I start from 20/40 and I go up in increments of 10. With regard to target, and then I identify all entries with 60% probability. So you can see all my entries over here have a list of, they have to be above 60% probability of it hitting with historical data. Then from there, I go down and then I look even deeper. So the ones with above 65%. And then I look at the historical data to see how often does a trade work on a specific day. So for example, this trade over here at 6 o'clock, it won 2 out of the 3 recent Fridays. So obviously that pushes confidence in my direction. And then I looked for trading risks, like market open. For example, here I said I'm in this position right here, but if it reaches or if it gets close to market open here at 6:30, I'm gonna have to pull it out, right? The news events aren't really there because of the government shutdown, so that's not something you have to really worry about. But for the most part, really, it's really just market open. So yeah, these are my step-by-step checklist identifying these entries, and this is how I come up with this list here. If you guys want to rewatch that, the video is available on the Discord. Just look at the algo channel if you have access to the premium, or look at the announcements channel where the link was posted yesterday. It's also under the mentoring channel as well. But all right, so like I said, guys, because of the government shutdown, we don't have very much volatility. You can see the market here is it's pretty slow. It's pretty slow and it's pretty dead. So I think in the future I might have to think twice about taking a pre-market entry. Let's just take a look at the list of trades here. So looking at the list of trades over here for 6 o'clock, these trades usually take, I mean, they vary. Some of them take a couple minutes, some of them take up to market open, some of them take 15 minutes. Let's see. So last Friday, this trade took up until market open. The Friday before that, which was on the 26th, it it pretty much went until market open as well. And the day before that, on the 19th, or yeah, the 19th, it went for about 10 minutes. So I mean, this is kind of like it puts us in a little bit of a tight position here because, obviously we don't want to hold on to this position until open. Let's just go back to the historical trades. So let's go back to last Friday, which is October 3rd. This trade didn't hit, but I'm curious to see what the trade looked like last Friday. Let's go to October 3rd real quick. So, if you have the algorithm, guys, it will show you every single entry that came up. So this was the entry from yesterday on Thursday. And I just like looking back to see like, what to expect. Like for example, over here, this is a trade on Wednesday. It went straight to target or straight to wherever it was aiming for. Um, this is from Tuesday. So this is what we don't want to happen. We don't want to hold on to this position, even though this did hit target. We don't want to hold on to a position into market open, right? Because you guys can see here, this is where the manipulation happens. See how it did hit target for full TP, but the problem with this here is that you kind of put yourself at a gamble when you're trading into market open because you don't know where price is going to spike to, right? It could spike up, it could spike down. So generally, and I took this trade on Wednesday with you guys, if it gets close to market open, I just pull out for partial profit. Our trade's currently running in profit. I'm in profit about 200 bucks right now. It's in profit about 10 points. So like I said, as we get closer and closer to market open, I might pull it early because even though the trade does hit here, I don't want to put my trade at chance, right? I'd rather pull out for partial profit or for, majority profit than have to gamble and worry about maybe getting screwed at some point, which ends up being the case a lot of the times. So let me go back real quick. We're going to go back to October 3rd, which is going to be the previous Friday. Okay, so here's October 3rd right here. You can see this trade ran for a pretty long time, actually. This trade ran for a pretty long little while there. Let's go to the 26th. So that was last Friday, And let's go to the Friday before that. I just want to see the historical data of like when these trades are taken on a Friday. And what should we expect here? Should we expect markets at to hit our target right away, or should it take a while? So this is the entry from 2 Fridays ago, September 26th. So just looking over here, it looks like price for the most part kind of goes sideways for a bit. Eventually it does hit, but again, this is another situation where the trade ran until 6:30, and we don't want that, right? So if price gets close to our target or like we get to like the minute mark, I'm probably just going to pull out of this trade early because the problem with this here is we don't want to get caught in market manipulation here at 6:30. There's always market manipulation at 6:30, right? It's the most manipulated time of the day because that's when market opens up. You get kind of random orders coming from both directions. But this trade over here pretty much ran about 30 minutes. It ran from 6 o'clock to 6:30. You can see here price kind of bounces around the opening price. So this is normal. Like for example, right now our trade's currently bouncing back and forth. This happens, right? This is what normally happens for this specific 6 o'clock entry. It bounces in profit, at a profit. Right here, you see we're back in profit again. So there's nothing to worry about here. If prices pull back a little bit back to open, that typically happens. So this is why it's important that you guys look back at the historical data because this will give you confidence in the position, right? You don't need to get worried that price pulls back and forth between profit and not profit. And I'm back again right here, back 200 points in profit, right? And I'm not worried about this because I'm looking back at the previous trades here and it shows that this happens a lot, right? It's not like this is a one-time occurrence where price doesn't move. You can see here from the data, like a lot of times it does go back and forth for like, 30 minutes or so. It's 612 right now. I'm in profit about yeah, about 200 some. It's kind of just sitting right there. I'm in profit 240 right now. It's in profit almost 10 points. So we're almost like a third of the way to our target. I'm now in profit 320. What we really want to see here is I want to see price break and close above the sessions. If price can break and close above the sessions and hold, then I'm expecting a nice big push to the upside. But again, as we get closer to market open, I'm in profit now 440, so it's looking pretty good. About 500 in profit. Um, Again, like I said, it's 6:13 right now. So as we get closer to 6 o'clock, I have to make a decision whether I'm going to pull out earlier or whether I'm going to hold on to it, right? I'm hoping we get this nice bullish push for the next couple minutes. Like I said, break and close above the sessions right there and push straight to our target, right? Ideally, best case scenario, yes, I would love this for this to hit our target before market open. But again, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to let my emotions take control. If we get too close to 6:30, I'm just going to pull out. So I'm in profit 520 right now. We're in profit 15 points. We're almost at the halfway mark. It's looking like a great trade so far. We're above the Asia high right there. So like I said, we want to see price break and close above the Asia high and hold. If it holds above here, we're going to be in a really good position because price is probably going to push up and go up higher from there. Let's take a look at the overall market structure. So market structure right now is currently bullish. It's more of a bullish neutral. It's bullish here on the 1 minute, it's bullish on the 5 minute, it's neutral on the 15, neutral on the 30, bullish on the 1 hour, neutral on the 4 hour. So it's more of a bullish neutral. I'm in profit about 500 right now so far. It's about 13, 15 points. Looking over here at the overall trend right now is currently bullish on the lower time frame. So the 1 minute here price is above the pivots. The trend meter is green, the pivots are angling up. Same with the 5 minute here, price is pushing up. We have a nice rejection right here off the pivot, so it's looking good to the upside. Looking over here on the 15, same thing, price is above the pivots, the trend meter is green, and the pivots are angling up. Looking over here on the higher time frames, price is attempting to shift to the upside. It was currently bearish over here on the 30, it was bearish on the 1 hour, but price is attempting to make it shift back to the upside here. I'm assuming market's going to try to close the week bullish or, in profit, of course. So this is going to be good for our trade here because we're in a buy. So right here, price again is having trouble staying above the Asia high. Ideally, we want it to hold above the Asia high, right? That's what I talked about. It is 6:15 right now, so we have about 15 minutes till market open 6:30. Like I said, I'm hoping this year we get a nice bullish push up until market open and we can get out of this position before market open. Otherwise, I will move my target up in profit or down in profit and then try to pull out of this before market open. But so far, so good. The trade is looking good. I'm in profit about 15 points, about 500 monetary value right there, and we'll kind of just see where this goes. But like I said earlier, guys, it's okay if price kind of bounces back and forth because you can see over here, it's normal for price to bounce back and forth for this specific entry. And I'm just looking over here at historical trades, right? I'm just looking back. Great. I'm in profit 20 points now and profit almost 1,000. So we're getting that bullish push right there that I was just talking about. It's looking great so far. Again, I'm trying to get out of here before 6:30, so I'm hoping that we get this nice bullish push higher. It's looking good for the most part. Again, we just need to hold above the sessions right here, the Asia high. Uh, Going back to the entry over here. So the stats over here, like I mentioned before, this trade has a 73.68 probability of it hitting based on historical data. It hit 2 out of the 3 Fridays. And again, I'm looking for this here to hold above the sessions. Again, right there, price is kind of having trouble holding above the sessions. And we are getting closer to 6:30. So I'm hoping this here kind of, pushes up a little bit higher. We have about, I'd say 13 minutes until market open. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get as close as possible to our target before I have to pull out of this. But I mean, the trade's still looking good. It was a nice break and retest right there off the sessions. So I'm in profit about 600, 700, 20 points in profit. So we're at the halfway mark. Again, I'm just waiting for this here to hold. I don't want to get caught in this market spike over here on open. Let's see. Will said, did you think maybe go break even once market open? No, because if I go to break even and price spikes, it's probably going to spike me out at break even. Well, so it's pointless. You either got to go like break even would just never make sense to me. You're either going to go for full target or full stop loss. Because if you go to break even, it's going to mess with your expectancy, right? Because if you keep hitting break even, like for example, if I take the 6 o'clock trade every day and I keep moving it to break even before market open, and every day it just keeps stopping me out at break even, but it eventually hits target, your expectancy of profitability is not going to be aligned, right? You got to go for either target or you got to go for stop loss, or you got to pull out for partial. I'd rather have partial with closer target than break even. I would never take break even because if you take a break even, you still got to pay commission. So you're going to be in the negative. You're not really at break even. You're more so in the negative. So, and I just look back at the previous data, right? If you ever look back at the previous entries at 6 o'clock, if you ever move to break even, you're going to get stopped out at break even. Look at this right here. So for example, this entry that happened on Thursday, see, if you would have taken the entry here, it would have stopped you at a break even regardless. So you don't want to eat. The last thing you want to do is get caught at break even. You'd rather get profit or get a loss. It doesn't matter. You have to accept the risks, and you're better off taking the trade for the win, or you're better off taking for a loss because then it's going to balance out, right? The data here doesn't account for break evens, so you want to go with whatever the data is providing you. Right? The algo over here doesn't account for break even. So, if I was to take break evens, the profitability might be higher. It might be like maybe an 80%, 90%, but the actual profits are going to be a lot lesser because you're not going to count the actual wins. All right, I'm in profit about 20 points right here, guys. We're about 10 minutes until market open, so I'm going to be watching this. I'm going to watch this pretty closely. Eventually, I'm just going to move my target a little lower and then try to get out of this position before market open. You can see here, price is trying to push up. There's probably going to be a spike up here on open. That's what it's looking like. But I'm not going to hold on to it into market open. I'm going to get out maybe a minute or 2 minutes before. Let's see. Blanco said, I am neutral as of now, but it is possible for it to spike up and hit your 40 points. But I think it might do weird up-down moves closing in on the open. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Blanco. That's why for me here, I'm probably going to be pulling out of this a little soon. Let me check the higher time frames real quick. So I don't know if there's structure up here. Okay, there is structure. So if price does push up, I mean on the 5 minute here, you can see there's an area for price to push up higher. Like there is liquidity to grab up here, right? There's liquidity hanging out right there, liquidity hanging out right there. So yeah, price it has room to go and it has a direction to like reach my target here. It's just do we have enough time for it to reach that point, right? I'm in profit about 25 points, guys, getting closer to my target now. Again, we just want this to hold above the Asia high. If it holds above the Asia high, we might get a nice volatility spike to the upside and then hopefully hit our target before 6:30. I mean, for the most part, it's looking good right now. See, if price pushes up, it's going to hit the liquidity from Thursday. Yeah, pretty much the liquidity from yesterday sitting right here. I'm in profit almost 1,000 right now. Let's go to the 10 minute. Yeah, same with this right here. I'm in profit about 30 points, guys. So there, 1,000 profit right there. We're almost on its way to target. It's pushing up right here. All right, we're almost at our target, 29, 30 points in profit. Again, there's liquidity sitting up here, so it has an area to push up to. Almost at our target right there, about a little over 30 points. All right, come on, let me get this, let me get this this last push up before we get to market open. I'm in profit 1,200 per account. Let's go. Almost there. Let's go. Yeah, Sam said liquidity sweep sell sweep at your target. Okay, perfect. So it looks like for Sam over here, he's looking for price to push up, grab liquidity above, and then pull it below, or for it to turn around from that point. 6:21 right now, guys. So we got about 9 minutes. Again, like I said, we're getting closer and closer to market open. I might have to pull out of this early, but I'm hoping that we can get this bullish push to finish off right before market open. Once it hits 6:25, then I'm gonna start to, I'm gonna start to start winding down a little bit. I'm starting to move my target a little lower so I can get out of this position. I'm still in profit right now, about 23 points. So I mean it's good for the most part. We're halfway to target. And I mean the trade's looking great so far. I'm basing this trade off the data. There's no emotions here, there's no technical analysis. I don't care where the trend's going, I don't care where market structure's at, but if it works in my favor, then I'll use that to my advantage. Like for example, here, I don't really care about the liquidity sitting above, but because there is liquidity sitting above, I do have targets and I do have confidence that price is likely to keep pushing higher. Because what might happen here is price might push up, grab liquidity, market opens up, spikes right back down. Right? Basically, a head and shoulders the opposite way. The head and shoulders pattern that I talked about earlier is actually playing out perfect, right? So we had this over here marked up. Is actually a textbook head and shoulders right here. So you had price push up, come down. This is a shoulder, the head, the shoulder, and push to the upside right there. So textbook head and shoulders right there. I'm in profit about 30 points right now. Um, Again, I'm hoping this hits before market open. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to pull out manually. So I'm in profit right there. 1,000, 1,200. Let's go. We got a few more points here. I'm in profit 32 points, so I'm 8 points away from my 40 points here. I'm just 8 points away from my target. I see a little bit more of a push here. So a little bit further up so I can get out of here. Yeah, Sam said pre-market 40 point looks huge sometimes. Yeah, I know. All right, we got 6 minutes until market open. So you got 6 minutes for this here to push up. I'm almost there. I'm like less than 10 points from my target. But again, like I said, I'm not trying to hold on to this into market open. This is probably going to spike on market open. It'll probably spike to target, but I'm not going to take that risk. Right. All right, so again, overall trend here. Overall trend's looking good so far. It's pretty much bullish on the 1 minute, bullish on the 5 minute, bullish on the 15. Looking over here on the 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, it's bullish across the board. So it looks pretty good. We're getting a nice rejection right here off the pivot. So it's another confluence there for price to push up higher. Looking at our trade here, it's pretty decent in profit. I'm in profit about 25 points. My target is 40 points. So we're just trying to get to that last little push right there before market open. We're getting close to 6:25, so we're about 5 minutes till open. Again, like I said, I don't want to hold on to this trade until open. I want to get out before. So I'm hoping right here again we have 5 minutes now. There we go, get that bullish push. Let's go, we're almost there. We are almost there. 33 points in profit, 35 points. I'm 5 points away. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. We're on a time crunch right now. We are on a time crunch. I gotta get out of this position. Let's go. Almost on my target. I got 5 minutes to hit my target. 37 points, 3 points away. Come on. 37. We are almost there. So this one's a little farther up, but I'm going to try to get out right here. So let's see. I just want this to spike. Give me a little nice little spike, little bump, little love bump right there. The love tap to the upside. And then let's get pulled out of this. Okay, almost there. I'm in profit. Shit. I'm in like fucking 1 point away. 1 point away. Okay, we're getting close to open, so I might have to pull out of this pretty soon. We were really close to the target right there. I'm gonna let it run for like another minute or so. And then if not, I'm just gonna have to pull out of this. Come on. We're like right there. Man, I've been awake for a while now. So I'm ready to go. We got market opening up in about 4 minutes. All right, we get another rejection right here off the pivots. Let's see if this pushes up higher. If not, again, I'm gonna pull out for a partial profit. I'll try to get in a little later. Next entry is at 716. But there's actually one entry right here. So this is gonna line up with the 627 entry. So there's a 627 entry right now. We're at the 627 candle. It's actually gonna line up with the current entry. So we got two entries right here, another buy entry that's setting up. So as soon as this candle closes, this is one over here for a 2040. I'm not going to take this. Obviously, I'm already in a position. So this is just confluence for the position that I'm currently in. So we're in at this position right here at 6 o'clock. There's a confluence position right here. It's another follow-up at 627 with momentum. We have a bullish momentum here. So this is another entry to the upside. Um, all right, I'm gonna hold on to it for 1 more minute, guys. 1 more minute, and then I'm gonna pull out. All right, there we go. So I'll hold on to it for a second, and then yeah, I gotta get out. Next minute is I'm holding on to it for like 1 more minute, then I'm out of this. There it goes, it pushes up. Come on, bro. Just get me out of here. Oh, come on, we're almost there. Almost there. All right, come on. I got 1 minute here to get out of this position. I got 30 seconds. Come on, 30 seconds. Push me up at least 5 points. Give me those 5 points. Ah, come on, just spike up. Just give me 5 points right here, and then we're good, and I'm out. All right, I gotta get out, guys. I'm out. I'm out. There you go. I gotta get out early, guys. Unfortunately,
Target
target
filled.
filled. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I was really hoping. I was like, come on, bro. Give me like, hey, this is probably gonna hit target though. I see it hitting right here. It's gonna hit that target. I know it. Fuck me. Oh God. It's okay. It's all good. I just wasn't gonna take that risk. So I knew this was gonna happen. But like I said, I'm not taking that risk on market open. Full TP right there. If you guys took it a full TP, great work, guys. This is it hit 30 seconds before market open. Great entry right there. Literally little to no drawdown right here. Perfect entry. Just took a while to hit. It's just the volatility was a little lower. So nice work. You guys can see my exit right here. I actually got out a pretty decent price. And there it goes. Price spikes up even higher. Blanco said if people only knew about getting out before market open, LOL price has this tendency to not hit. And there we go. Big spike to the upside. Oh my gosh, look at that big push. I knew this was going to happen. Like I told you guys, like, we're going to get that spike right there, right? And it did. So a beautiful entry. All I like to see here is that the algo is hitting, right? Even though I took partial profit on it, what I like to see here is that the algo hit because this gives me confidence in the algo, right? So we're good. I'm solid. This shows me that okay, in the future when I take the trade, maybe keep my cool for like the next 30 seconds and then pull out of the position. But it's all good. I'll take what I got here. Yeah, Barack said should have held Burr. It's okay. Ben got it for full TP. Nice work. Lila got it for 450. Great work. Karen held. Lovely. Definitely. Nice wins over here, guys. Cern said that was crazy. Rashida said she held on to it. Stop loss and profit at 200. Made 924. Nice work, Rashida. Yeah, great work, guys. Great work. I know. What is it called? Diamond hands to you guys who held on to that till open. See this big spike right here? This is what I was worried about. I didn't want to mess with this here because I knew this was going to happen on open. That's why I had to pull out before. I'm playing it smart. I'm playing it safe. I'm not taking those unnecessary risks. Because if price was over here, say for example, if price was down here and we got that big red candle, that would have like really screwed up our position, right? So you got to play it smart, guys. I'm happy with my whatever 30 points or whatever. Yeah, sure, I lost on 10 point or missed out on 10 points, but I'll take those 30 points any day to prevent me from being stressed out with holding it. D said that always happens, Sean. I know it, right? It always does, but it is what it is. I gotta take what I can get. A lot over here. Nice work. So a lot locked in 1,105. Looks like you should be close to passing your accounts a lot, if not already passed it. So big congrats to you. A lot here is brand new to the group. He's been around for like maybe maybe a month now or so. Or you've been trading for like maybe just a week or 2 weeks. And it's been pretty spot on. So again, guys, this is the power of the algo, right? I'm really excited for a lot of you guys here because a lot of you guys have access to this algo. And, I'm really curious to see what you guys can come up with. Because if I'm coming up with this type of data, I'm curious to see like how much better are you guys going to get? Like how much better than me? Because, everybody's different. You guys might be able to pull even better entries than I am. This thing was pretty spot on. I mean, everything here was pretty much. So this is the entry I took for the day. So for today so far, today's algo entries, 6 o'clock win for plus 2R. So just one trade for today so far. One win plus 2R. It's looking good. So two of them actually. There was another trade here, the 627 that we talked about, right? So that was a great confluence because we had that one right there. That also won. So another plus 2R. So it's actually two wins, 4R. So when you guys take these algo entries, you guys have a decision whether you want to take every single entry or whether you want to take just some entries, right? This entry right here, I was already in a position, so I didn't want to double up, but we did have two positions right here with a high win percentage. 6 o'clock, 601, and 627. I took the 601 one. But you can see over here, if you took the 627, they both would have hit. So great entries right there. Yes, sir, and said Friday vibes. Brock said, happy hunting, Kodi Kai squad. I know you'll make a few killings today. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you guys did pretty good. If you guys have props to post up, feel free to share them. So, I always remind you guys, sharing your profits here isn't necessarily to show off, right? This is to give you confidence because if you're posting profits every day, you're going to be in a very good mood, right? Like I'm sure you guys know that feeling. If you post wins, you're in a good mood. You post losses, you're not in a good mood. But if you keep posting your wins, you're going to feel confident. And the next time an entry comes up, you're just going to take it. You're not going to think twice because you're going to have that confidence that, okay, this trade's probably going to hit because I just hit the last one and I'm taking a trade that has high probability, right? Because we're only taking high probability trades. The next setup is going to be at 716. It's not one that I'm personally looking to take. The reason for that is because the spread is a little too far out. Like the TP stop loss here is a 45.90. So I don't really want to go for a 90 point push, right? Although the trade will probably hit, I don't really want to hold on to a position for that long. So yeah, great win right there, guys, across the board for you guys in total. I mean, we've made some pretty good profit this week overall. Personally, I don't even know if I want to take the 752 entry, but we'll try it. We'll try it. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and take a look at the next entry. The next entry is at 716. Again, if you guys have the algorithm, you guys have access to it. If you guys want to follow along and check my analysis here, so let's see. The next entry is at 716. It's going to be a 90 point target, 45 point stop loss. The entry is at 916, so I'm going to put the number right here. This is cool now because you guys have access to my algo, so you guys can actually follow along with me. You just put these numbers in right here, 90, 45, 916. I have the numbers already on the chart. You click update report, and then we'll pull up the stats for that trade at 716. I mean, if it looks good, maybe I'll hop into it. We'll see. All right, it's updating the report right now. Try to update my stats as price goes along. So this is going to be a with momentum actually. Update the report again. So again, if you guys want access to this algo, I'll extend it one more day because I know some of you guys didn't see the message yesterday. But if you guys want access to this algo, basically I'm giving temporary access to it. If you guys have access to the indicators, you'll be able to use it. If you want to use it, just message me on Discord if you have access, and I'll update your access to the algo here. To find it, you'll just go under your indicators. You'll go to invite only scripts. It'll be called Kodi Kai momentum algorithm right here, and that's where you'll add it to your chart. Once you have that on there, you'll have all the settings. Again, if you guys didn't watch the video yesterday, the live session, just rewatch the video. It was a pretty long session. We went pretty much in detail how to identify certain entries. And now I'm doing the same thing. So I'm doing exactly what we talked about yesterday. This entry is at 716. What I like to look at here is I like to look at the most recent trades. So the most recent trades over here on Friday were on October 3rd, right? So October 3rd, it did hit full TP right there. The trade the day before that was September 26th. This was also a win. You can see right there. The day before that is September 19th, which was a loss. So looking at this in general, it shows that this specific trade at 716, it has hit 2 out of the 3 most recent Fridays. So that shows that it has a pretty nice probability of it hitting today. It has a 63.16% win ratio. Let's go back and look at the previous trades. I think this is the best part. The best part is looking at the historical data, right? Because you already have the numbers here. You know that the trade's profitable. But what you want to see next is like, how long does this trade hit, right? Does this take forever to hit? Because if it takes forever to hit, I'm not trying to take this trade. It's just not the type of trade I want to get into, right? So let's see that one hit within a couple minutes. That was the most recent trade yesterday. And again, I don't care about price action. I don't care about technical analysis. I'm just trading off the data. These are how quants trade, right? If you've heard about quant trading, basically they trade off the data. They look at the probabilities, they look at the filters, and if it lines up properly, they'll take the trade. So this is a trade from Wednesday. You can see here, this trade kind of runs for a long time. I don't really like trades like this. If it runs too long, this type of trade starts to stress me out. So this trade took about an hour to hit. It got close to getting stopped out, but then it went right back up. And this trade it took an hour and 10 minutes to hit. This is too long. This is not the type of trade I want to hold on to. That's why I don't like going for big targets. I'd rather know right away if I get in or if I get out. But this trade here, this was on Wednesday, October 8th. Great trade. It hit 90 points full TP. But again, like I said earlier, guys, I don't know if I want to hold on to a position for an hour, right? I think at that point, it turned into a day trade and it just doesn't sit well with me holding on to a position for that long. Here's another one from Tuesday. So back-to-back wins over here. Short position right here. This trade took a little bit shorter. 90-point target. So this trade happened a little bit quicker, but again, it's still, you'd be holding on to this for a while. Actually, this wasn't too long. This was a 14-minute hold. Little to no drawdown, straight at the target. It's a great entry right there. One thing that you can do too is you can trade within the trade. So if you don't want to get in right away or hold on to it for the full 90, you can get in like at the halfway mark. Let's look at one more setup, and I'm just curious to see the historical data of like how it moves. If it doesn't usually take that long, maybe it's something I'll be looking to take, but as you can see here. So this is another entry. The buy position happened right here at 716. This wouldn't take as long. So this took about, yeah, so it looks like on average it takes about like maybe like 14 to 20 minutes for it to hit. This one right here again at 716, this thing kind of went into limbo for a little bit at entry and then it ended up shooting straight up to target. So I guess this trade it's not a horrible trade, but again, I don't want to hold on to a position for more than 20 minutes. Let's look at one more example and then I'll go back to the current market to see what's going on. But I mean, the trade looks great. So you look over here, a lot of these, it looks like it was on a pretty nice win streak actually. So again, 90 points. This trade took about, and if you guys have my algorithm, you guys can test this yourself, right? We talked about this yesterday. The real the real beauty in this tool is looking at the historical data and building confidence in the trade. So looking at this so far, I mean, this trade looks good. It looks like it has little to no drawdown. There's a little drawdown period here earlier in the month, like September 15th to September 17th, but ever since it's been pretty bullish. You can see right here, it's had a pretty long win streak. So it had one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 7 days back-to-back hitting win streak. So again, if you guys want to take this trade, I'll mark it up for you. For myself, I probably will not be taking this trade because of the wide risk reward. Thing is, I have to adjust my targets and whatnot if that becomes the case, right? Because right now I'm going for a 40-20. I have to adjust my contract size. It's just a little too much work to make those adjustments there. Let's see the orb over here. Let's see if it hit. Okay, so the orb again, same situation here that we talked about. We talked about this yesterday. I like the orb, but the problem with the orb is that a lot of times it doesn't come back down to retest. So for the retest entry, there was actually no entry for the retest. But if you're going for just the breaking close past the structure, this would be the entry right here. Depending on like what your TP stop loss would be. I mean, you can do a 40-20, this probably would stop you out. But if you did like a 40-40 or anything like that, it would hit target right there for a 1-to-1. I wouldn't go for a 1-to-1. I'd probably go for a 1-to-2. So instead of this here, I'd probably go for like maybe a 30-60 or maybe even a 40-80. Trade would technically still be running right now. I've kind of fallen in love with like 1-to-2 risk rewards, guys. I think 1-to-2 is going to be that's going to be standard. If anything, I'll go for higher, maybe 1-to-3, 1-to-4. But for the most part, I'm always going to go in for a 1-to-2. And if I want to trail it and ride it higher for a 1-to-3 or 1-to-4, I'll do that. But I don't think I'll ever go back to like a negative risk reward or a 1-to-1. The problem with the 1-to-1s is that yeah, you'll have a higher win ratio, but your profitability long term is not going to be as good as a 1-to-2. I'd rather take 1-to-2s and eat losses here and there, and then the wins will recoup those losses versus taking a 1-to-1 and kind of like scraping by sometimes when the market's not moving too well. So yeah, nice. So Visual actually caught it for 100 points. He caught the break past the orb high right there. So I think that's going to be something I look forward to in the future. Once I get the tick data. Right now, I'm going to stick to our basic momentum based entries, but in the future, I'll probably look at tick data. I think tick data is going to make a lot more sense with with the algo because it'll be spot on actual movement, not on time. Let's see. Question from Zachary. Oh, Zachary, message me on Discord. So I don't think you saw the message yesterday. A lot of people didn't see it. So yesterday I messaged for people to send me their username. Zachary, just send me your username through Discord. Send me a private message, and then I'll update it right now. Yeah, I could give you access right now if you want, because I can just have a separate window here to update. I know a lot of you guys want access to the algo, so I'm ready to give access when I get your information. Oh shit, I just realized I didn't even post up the live stream here. My bad, guys. For it looks like majority of you guys here found it though, so it's not like you guys missed it. Whoops. All right, so we're good right there. Anyways, price is pushing up higher, so we're looking at price here as it pushes up in this continuation. Again, 716 is going to be with momentum, so we're looking for a continuation of direction. So looking over here as we get closer to 716, what we're looking for is if price starts to turn this way, the other way, we'll look for continuation down. However, if price continues to push up higher, say price kind of goes sideways here for a bit, pushes up higher, then we're expecting a continuation up from there. So it's a little dependent on like where direction of price goes with regard to the entry. But for the most part, if you guys are just joining in, there was two entries that came up for the day. We all entered this one at 6 o'clock. And then there was a follow-up entry right here at 6:27. They overlap with the previous entry. They both hit full TP for 40 points. So it's a 4R total for the day, 2R per trade. Profits are pretty good for the day. I mean, I'll see if I can update my trader sync. Oh, that reminds me. Okay, let me do that real quick. I'm going to see if my hedge fund is up and running now. I gotta log into this real quick. So I've been checking every day to make sure my hedge fund is like fully processed. I got a message NinjaTrader too to get everything all sorted out. It kind of sucks because they only update the website every day at midnight. So the only time I can check is when it's a new day. And just make sure they got my fingerprints. That's all that's left, guys. So I'm expecting the hedge fund to be up and running by next week. Uh, the regulators just need to they just need to check my fingerprints, do an FBI background check on me to make sure I don't have anything I don't have anything going on with me. And then yeah, that's the last step. So I'm just looking for the fingerprint. Actually, actually the hedge fund's already up and running, so I'm already good. This is for my personal because I'm a principal of the hedge fund. Hmm. Let me see if I could search up the hedge fund. Maybe it's already up. Firm profile. Kodi Kai. Oh shit. Okay. Oh, NFA member pending. Okay. So everything is good except for okay, yeah, just not all principles. That's all good. I'm trying to see if I can search it. I mean, I'll just show you guys real quick. So for those of you who are waiting for the hedge fund to up and running, so my hedge fund's already up here. So this is the NFA. This is the National Futures Association. This is my hedge fund, of course. Obviously, Kodi Kai Capital. I have my NFA ID number. So my hedge fund's currently active. It's just they need to do my fingerprints as a principal because I'm pretty much doing all the trades. But the hedge fund is pretty much active. Now that it's active, which is perfect, I need to get in touch with NinjaTrader. All right, perfect. So yeah, just a quick update on the hedge fund. I'm actually really excited to run this strategy on the hedge fund because you guys have seen the profitability. I'm like, it's crazy how much money we're going to generate through the hedge fund running this strategy. Because right now, I mean, you guys have seen my stats. So right now, my stats are pretty nice. So currently, right now, these are my stats for the month. I'm gonna update today's trades in a second. But yeah, these are my stats for the year so far, which are pretty nice. It's even with the loss from yesterday, I'm still in profit about 890. So I'm anticipating at least about 100 clients to be onboarded for the hedge fund. So I'm expecting this to be a lot more. Like this will be like times 100 because there's gonna be so much more accounts to be added onto here. So well, yeah, I'm just super excited to see what's going to happen for over the next couple months because we're going to be implementing this algo. Basically, I'm taking the same trades that I'm doing here, but for the hedge fund. And yeah, I'm hoping for pretty nice kickoff so that by next year I'll maybe double in clients, and then we're off to the races. So We'll see what happens. Anyways, there's no entry here until 7:16, guys. We have some downtime right now. Like I said earlier, if we have a bearish momentum here, this is going to be with momentum. So it's doing exactly what I mentioned earlier, right? So what I mentioned earlier is we're going to see where price is going. We currently have a sell momentum here. So if this is the case, we're having price to turn around from this point. And when it gets down to 7:16, I'm looking for continuation down lower. So we are good right there. I'm going to get in touch with the regulators at NinjaTrader so that so I can start onboarding people to the hedge fund. Actually, I'm gonna do that on the side right now. So as we wait for this entry to come up, I'm gonna do a couple things. As we wait for this entry to come up, I'm going to update my trader sync real quick. And then after I update my trader sync, I'm going to get in touch with the regulators of compliance at um at NinjaTrader or yeah, NinjaTrader. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I just don't really see much happening over here right now. For the news for today, we do have Michigan consumer sentiment. This is scheduled for 7 o'clock. I don't know if this is going to be released. This might be delayed. It might be canceled. It might be, whatever, because the government shutdown. I don't know if this is going to be included with like the data that comes out. So we do have news coming up at 7 o'clock. This is scheduled. It happens pretty much every Friday of the second week. But I don't know if this is going to be the case. So just keep in mind there's news coming up at 7 o'clock. We don't know if this is going to be canceled or delayed or postponed due to the government shutdown, but we'll see. There's something to keep in mind. I don't know if CNBC reported on anything. Let's see any breaking news for today. No, nothing there. Yeah, nothing there. Let's see. Will said you're at 890K this year and almost at 300K for the month, and we're just halfway through the month. Crazy. Yeah, so what Will just said right now, it is pretty crazy because the thing is the algo is doing some crazy numbers, right? We just started using the algo this month, and obviously that's going to be my main focus moving forward. So yeah, I'm really excited for what the algo is going to produce, not just for this month, but like for the rest of the year, basically, right? It's pretty incredible how accurate this algo is. So for those of you who I've given access to this algo, I'm really excited for what you guys are going to produce, right? Because I'm curious to see like the profits that are going to be shared. Because if I'm doing this well with my accounts, I'm curious to see how you guys are going to do. The opportunities are they're really endless because you can run the algo all throughout the day. I only run it between 6 and 8 because this is where I trade. But for those of you who want to trade all throughout the day, you can trade Asia session, you can trade London session, you guys can trade different assets. You don't have to trade YM, right? Like Martha over here, she was on the session yesterday and she loves to trade gold. So I'm curious to see what she's able to pop out with. I'm curious to see what everybody does with the other assets like NQ, GC, ES, etc. Damn. So here's CERN over here. CERN killed it right there. Spot on. He rode that thing right up. So amazing work right there, CERN, on catching that. Martha, I think you have access, right? Let me see. Shit, let me just update this. Yeah, you have access already, Martha. I'm not sure if you're here on the live session. Okay. All right, looks good. So again, entry is going to be at 7:16. We have possible news here at 7 o'clock. We'll see if the news comes out. If it doesn't come out, that's fine. If it does come out, that's also fine, right? We're just going to be basing our analysis here based off how market reacts to the news. Doesn't really matter because the news comes out at 7, so 7:16 is enough. It's enough time that we won't need to we won't have to really worry about it being manipulated. All right, I got my trader sync over here updating. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat again. We don't have any entries coming up until 7:16. So what I'm going to do on the side is I'm going to get in touch with the regulators at Ninja. Right. The thing with the regulators at Ninja Traders, they never respond. It's so annoying. Like I'm in touch with like the main guy, the main compliance guy, and he just never emails me back. I gotta send him like 4 follow-up emails. So let's see, I just want to make sure this email is right. Follow up. All right, cool. Looks like I got an email from FTMO. They're changing margin requirements. Okay. So it looks like FTMO is changing margin requirements for gold and for Bitcoin. For those of you who are trading with FTMO, not a big difference, but something to keep in mind. All right, guys. So entry is going to come up right here at 7:16. We got 7 o'clock right here. Let's see a little bit of a price spike. Nothing huge. Nothing huge, nothing crazy. Let's go over here to the news real quick, see if there's any update. Okay, so Michigan consumer sentiment, the news did come out. So it did come out as positive news. That's why we got that big green candle right there. Nice little bullish spike. All right, so we got news right here. 7 o'clock looks like it did come through. Um, And so we got price pretty much spiking up initially on the open, or not the open, but the candle for the news, and then now it's coming right back down. So it does not look like we're getting a continued push from that Michigan consumer sentiment. It wasn't a very strong data release either. So it was like you can see right here, it was like 55.1 and just at 55. So just a little bit of positive news right there. Price here is obviously not following that direction. Again, the next entry is going to be at 716 right here. It's not my target entry, but we'll be following it. It's going to be a pretty big move, a 90 point to 100 point move. So if you guys want to take that entry at 716, you guys are more than welcome to take it. My target entry is going to be at 752. I don't even know if I'm going to take the 752 entry. It just kind of depends on like what the market's looking like. This is supposed to be with momentum. So for example, right now, I see price, which is currently coming down, right? So what I would like to see here is I'd actually like to see a sell entry come up right here for 716. If it's not a sell entry, I think it's going to be a little tricky because that's going to be a reversal to the upside, right? The thing is the trade here is with momentum. So you typically want price to go with the directional momentum, which is currently bearish. So it kind of depends on where this entry comes up. I think ideally for 716, I mean, the analysis should be, dug into as you get closer to that time period. But right now, at this very moment, it's looking like it should be a sell because the momentum is still continuing down. Otherwise, if we do get a buy signal, which comes up pretty soon right now, which it might come up, if that's the case, you want to see a nice continuation up higher, right? If the entry happens somewhere around here, that's great because you'll be looking for price to push up 90 points. So this is actually, I mean, it could be a good setup because if you do get a buy here, then price will probably push up to fill this area right here to retest this liquidity, right? So I'm just using, like I said earlier, we're not really using technical analysis or market structure or anything really that has to do with um, price action, but you can use that to your advantage, right? You can use that as a confluence because yes, if we get a buy here, this could be a good entry because price can come up, hit your target, and then come back down. But you don't need to use technical analysis. The whole algorithm runs off quant data, right? It's all quantitative data there. So we're not really basing our entry at 716 off of price action. But if you want to use price action to like improve your confidence in the entry, you're more than welcome to. You can do that. You're not going to get any slack for using extra confluence. You just don't want to overfit, right? We talked about that overfitting, having too much criteria to the point where like the strategy is not the strategy anymore. You don't want to have too many filters. You don't want to have too many criteria. You just want to have something basic that has probability as raw data. And then from there, of course, you can add your filters and your confluences. Sorry, Alad, I just saw your question up here. I thought I answered your question, but I didn't. So Alad was asking over here, um, Sean, aren't small consistent profits better than huge candle for Apex eval? So the candle doesn't matter a lot. The what matters is what your target is, right? That's why I mentioned a 1 to 2, because it doesn't matter if your target is like, for example, if you're doing a 1 to 2, it doesn't matter what the candle size is, right? You can do a 20/40. This is still going to be the same as if you were taking a 150, right? Because it's still a 1 to 2. So they don't correlate. The candle size doesn't correlate to whatever your movement's going to be because your contract size is going to be based off whatever the risk is, right? So like for example, if you're doing a 40/20, you're probably going to take a 3 to 5 contract, right? You're not going to take a 3 to 5 contract on a 100 point move. You're going to lower this to maybe like 1 contract or 2 contracts. So it doesn't make a difference because your P&L is going to be exactly the same. It's just your target's gonna be higher. So that's why I don't want to take the bigger move because I have to change my contract sizing. Like for right now, I'm using basically 5 contracts on this, right? If I was to do this, I have to go through my whole copier and change every single number. I don't want to do that. It's too much work, especially if it's not something that I normally take. If this is something that I like, say in the future, say the volatility picks up and it's really, really high, and majority of the entries have a really wide TP stop loss, then in a situation like that, I'll set a different tab with all of my different targets and all of my different different contract sizes. But right now, what's currently working is with this current volatility, it's a little low. So I'm sticking to like the tighter ones. Like if anything, I have a setup here where I can take 60/30s. Like 60/30 is okay because it's not that far out, right? But I'm not going to go up to like a 90-point target or a 100-point target. So yes, the small and well, not really small consistent profits are good, but not small profits. You're not trying to go for like you're not going for crumbs here, right, Elad? Like you're not going to go for like a couple dollars a day. If you do a couple dollars a day, you'll probably you'll be funded by like maybe the next 10 years because it's going to be impossible to reach that profit goal of 3,000, right? It's going to take you years to get funded. So you want to stay consistent with whatever your goal is, right? Like for example, if you're on a 50K account, your goal is to make 3,000, right? That's how you get funded. You divide this by 4 trades. So every trade you're going to be, or every day you're going to be aiming to make about 750, right? This is going to be consistent. If you're talking about small profits, you think about say 3,000 and you're going for $100 a day, right? This is going to take you 30 days to pass, right? So yeah, uh don't think small profits or small consistent profits. You want consistent profits, but you want it to make sense where you're going to be passing the account within a month's time. Otherwise, you're going to be taking forever to pass the account. So, yeah, I think you're just your thought process is you're thinking, okay, like lock in profits here and there, but which obviously, yeah, it does make sense, but you want to have it consistent where you're making proper amount of profits, not small profits. You want to just be consistent straight through. Like every trade you take, you want to make about 300 to 400, right? You don't want to cut your earnings small just because you want to lock in profitability because the win rate doesn't matter very much. Right. You have a win rate above 33%, you're going to be profitable regardless. Doesn't matter, what your profits are. Is if your win rate is above 33% and you have consistent gains without moving your stop loss to break even or anything like that, then you should be good in the long term. Because your goal here is to have expectancy, right? You want your profit expectancy to be consistent. That's why I don't really move stop loss and profit. I really don't pull out early unless I really have to. Like for today, for example. So let me scroll over here real quick and let's see what else we got. So Rashida said, can't wait to test it out. David said, Sean, I was doing some deep diving into your algo last night and found an additional confluence that I think could really strengthen it. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so let's see what you got here. So you said looking at the 508 entry, it's a 63% win rate, but if you take a look under the trade analysis tab, results show for the previous 19 days, the actual win rate for longs buys is 90%, whereas for the sells, it's 33%. The algo combines the two and gives the average win rate of 63%, but the longs have 9 wins, 1 loss. So today would only make sense to buy. Okay, yeah, no, so that makes a ton of sense right there. So basically what David here said is he was looking, what wins more, buys or sells. If it usually wins for buys or if it usually wins for sells, then you should probably stick in that direction. So that's a really good takeaway. Yeah, let's go back and let's take a look at that trade. So thanks, David, for finding that. That's actually a really good find there. Because then in the future, we're just not gonna take any sells, right, for that specific trade. So let's go over here real quick. 40/20. I'm gonna pull up the report. Yeah, that's a good find. So again, this is another reason why it's great that I'm sharing this tool with you guys because you guys are able to find these little inconsistencies in the market that you could take advantage of, right? So the report's currently updating right now. I'm going to look at that data again because I didn't even bother to look at that. If that's the case, then, yeah, I see right here. So it says, for the longs, 9 wins, 1 loss, and then more losses for the shorts here. So like looking at that trade, today, it would make sense to just take the buys, not the sells. Okay, that's really, really smart. So thanks for that input, David. So yeah, if you guys have any ideas, share the ideas. You guys are all part of the algo group. So if you guys are part of the premium, you guys do have the algo group right here. If you guys find anything, share your thoughts in the algo group because this is going to help everybody, not just me, but it's going to help everybody over here. So I'll just put this over here real quick. I'll type it up and then I'll kind of just show you guys what I put here. David commented in on the live today, mentioning that he looked at win rate and probability of wins, specifically for buy, sell entries. Today's 508 entry showed that 9 out of 10 buys won, and only 3 out of sells won. So using this data, it would make sense to only take the entry if it was a buy. Okay, that's great. Okay, so I put this message right here in the algo group, guys. I just put a little summary of what David mentioned. I said David commented on the live today, mentioning that he looked at the win rate and probability of wins, specifically for buys versus sell entries. Today's 508 entry showed that there was 9 out of 10 buys at one and only 3 out of 8 sells at one. So using this data, it would make sense to only take the entry if it was a buy. Yeah, that's great. Great stuff. So yeah, if you guys ever find anything else that you think could be, uh, useful, specifically off the data. Not, again, we don't want to use price action. We don't want to use market structure. We don't want to use anything outside. We just want to use the data here because we're trading like quants, right? We're using quantitative data to identify our probabilities for the trade. So this goes even deeper into the trade here. The trade has 66.67 probability of it hitting. And then here it shows that, mainly take the buys here because those are the ones that usually win. So, you could have skipped a trade here because it was a sell and it would have improved the win rate or it would have gave you a higher probability of the trade actually winning. So yeah, great input there, guys. Great input and definitely we'll be using that to our advantage moving forward. Let me put this trade back over here. Again, if you guys want access to the algo, it's available right now. Today's probably gonna be the last day that it'll be available. Just have access to the indicators, message me for access to the algo and I'll give it to you. Yeah, it's going to be very useful for all of us here because we're all going to be learning from it. We're all going to be adapting to it, and it's going to make yeah, it's going to make a big difference because our profitability is just going to go through the roof, of course. Literally go through the roof. Let's see. So Blanco said, this is how I'm managing my accounts. Gives me 100 risk to make 400, 600. Yeah, exactly. So Blanco over here, he's using a 1 to 4 to 1 to 6 risk reward, which is good. If it works with your trading style and whatever you're applying, that's great. For me personally, I like to use a 1 to 2, especially with Apex because their trailing drawdown rule is kind of tight, right? So I have to keep it somewhat tight. Going back to what Elad was saying earlier, you want to keep it consistent, and you don't want to go for those home run hits. You want to go for those base hits so that you can stay within your drawdown criteria. Blanco said there's only 20 trading days in a month. I would have to lose every day straight up. Yeah. Yeah, because since you're doing a 1 to 6 or 1 to 4 risk reward, Blanco, you can lose a lot of trades, but when you win that trade, you make it right back. So, it definitely helps. Helps a lot. All right, the entry right here at 716 is coming up, guys. It's going to be for a sell. So if you guys are looking to take it, it's going to be a big move. I think this is a good trade because the momentum is coming down right here. So it's just a continuation to the downside. This is obviously with momentum. So if you guys want to take it, feel free to take it. Again, I'm not taking it because this is it's just too big of a move for me. I don't want to hold on to this for 90 points. 90 points it's just too far. Look at this thing. This thing's actually kind of crazy. I mean, it's not that far. It's not as bad as it looks, but it's still pretty far. It's far for me specifically. So if you guys are looking to take a sell here, this is going to be the 716 entry. It has a 63.16% win ratio. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trade analysis over here. It looks like it pretty much wins the same for longs and shorts. So going back to David's analysis, it doesn't make a difference here. Both sides do typically win regardless of the direction. Um, Looking at the list of trades, this trade pretty much hits 2 out of 3 Fridays. So basically last Friday it won. So full TP right there. The Friday before that, it won. And the Friday before that, it lost. So basically, 2 out of the 3 Fridays that this trade has came up, it has won. Again, if you guys are not familiar with how my algorithm works, basically what it does is it tracks momentum 24 hours a day by the minute. So what we're seeing here is that pretty much every day for the past 19 trading days, basically 2 to 3 weeks, this trade here has has hit. Like there's always momentum and direction here at this specific point in time every single day for, X amount of period of time. So looking at this right here, guys, the trade's currently running in profit. This is a 90-point move. It's for a 1 to 2. I was like, man, this might have been good if we had data here that it was actually hitting. Here, let's check this out for 2040. I'm just kind of curious to see, if I was going for a smaller target, because I typically like to go for 2040. Let me see what the profitability would have been to jump into this for 40 points. I think that's what I should do in the future. In the future, I'm just going to pull up the data to see what the numbers look like. Even if it's a big move, if the numbers look good for 2040, I might be able to jump into it and go for a smaller target. So the report is currently updating right now. And I mean, we'll see what happens here. Yeah, so the data isn't good actually. So this is why I wouldn't take it for 2040 because it looks like it doesn't actually work very well. Doesn't work very well 2040. Works good for the 90-45, but again, like I said, I don't like trading for that. So yeah, this trade would have been skipped. I mean, I wouldn't have taken it regardless. It's just too far of a move. We'll follow it here. Again, I'm not in this position, guys, but we'll follow it and we'll see kind of where it goes. But the 2040 is not a good trade for 716. The next entry that I'll be looking for is going to be at 752. So again, I'm not in this position right here, guys. I'm just marking it up for those of you who want to take it. It's too big of a target for me to reach 90 points. Um, let's see. Talanji said, what about 40-40 or 45-45 for these kinds of long trades? Would that make sense? I mean, it would be a one-to-one Talanji, so it might make sense. Here, let's see. I can put the numbers in for you. Let's see, 40-40. For me, again, like I mentioned, I don't really like one-to-ones very much because, yeah, your win rate's going to be high, but your profitability is not going to be as high, right? Because the thing is, like, if you lose a trade, you basically make it back slightly. If you win a trade, you just make it back slightly. You're not really making profit on top of it, right? That's why I like doing these 1 to 2s because you could lose a trade, but you win in the next trade and you make it back plus profit. And like you'd have to take more trades if you're going to do a 1-to-1. So it looks here that it's profitable. Here, let's see. I could kind of do the math here. So this is 40, right? So 40 times 11, it's 440. 40 times 8. So yeah, you'll be profitable taking this. It's just and let's do the math a little bit again here. So we'll do that times or minus 320. So it'd be 120, right? That'd be your net profit. And then let me go back to wherever it was, 95-45 or no, 90-45. So again, guys, looks like the trade here didn't work out. I'm glad that we skipped out on this trade. Again, like I said, I don't like taking trades that have to hold on for that long. And I don't think the criteria there really lined up well. So looking at the current momentum here, price has been pretty choppy right before. So I think what might happen here is price might just stay choppy for a little bit. With these entries, you definitely want to take the entries when it's moving directional, not when it's just going sideways. But here, I got the update right here. So now we have the updated data. It's 12 wins times 90. And then we have, and my math sucks. Sorry, I do the math. Minus 12, 7. Okay, 7 times 45. Okay, so you see the difference here, Talanji? So when you're doing a 1 to 2, this is going to be your point profit, right? You're going to lose trades here and there, but when you win profit, you're going to make double on it. So you make 765 taking the same amount of trades. But if you're doing a 1 to 1, like you mentioned, you're only going to make 120. So it's a big difference with profitability. It's just like the 1 to 1 is just, it used to make sense to me before because, I was aiming for like 1 or 2 net wins per month. But looking at the numbers here for 1 to 2, it makes way more sense because I'd rather take more risk and eat losses. Like this would be an okay loss because if I win the next trade, I make it back. So long term, like within a 19-day trading sample, you make 765 points versus 120. So if you guys are going to use my algo, I do highly recommend that you stick to a 1 to 2. Stick to a 1 to 2, trade the probabilities, and then if you lose a trade, that's completely fine, right? Eat the loss because if the next trade wins, you're going to recoup that loss, plus you're going to make profit on top of it. So I would say keep it at 1 to 2, and then from there, go even farther. You can go for like 1 to 3, 1 to 4, but don't go anything below 1 to 2. Because the thing is, we're trading probabilities here, right? So like either way, if you take a loss, you're probably going to win the next trade. So you're going to make it back, regardless of the fact. Yeah, exactly. So Solange said, yeah, right. So better to just not taking it. Maybe include ATR as confluence. Yeah, exactly, Talanji. So if the trade looks good, then take it. But if the trade doesn't look good, then it's better to just sit out of it. I think it's better to just sit out of it. Because the thing is, you don't want to take so many trades too, because you'll pay a lot in commissions. That's one thing that I unfortunately had to realize over time. Like when you were doing micro scalping, going for like 5 points. Micro scalping is cool because you have a really high win rate, but the problem with that is that you're going to you're gonna rack up a lot of like commissions and fees, and then you end up like not even taking home very much profit. So yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's better that way. Let's see, David's asking the upcoming entry at 752. I'm seeing a 80% win rate for sells, 55% for buys. Awesome. Thanks, David, for doing that. So let's go over here real quick. So let's see. Yeah, it's a 40/20, and it's going to be at 752. There's another one before at 751, but I think 752 might be better. All right, 752, we're going to pull up the stats over here. David mentions that the sells have an 80% win rate while the buys have 55% win rate. So I think if we're going to look for an entry here at 752, I'll probably only take it if it's a sell. All right, perfect. I got the data over here. So this is one of my actual target entries. It's what I'm looking to take today. So this has a 68.42% win ratio. It won 13 out of the 19 trading days that have passed. Most recently, looking over here at the trade analysis, yeah, looking at this right here, so it does look good. So I'll do the math myself here. So basically, yeah, 5 divided by 9. It has a 55% win ratio for the buys. And then for the sells, it has an 80% win ratio. So yeah, definitely, David. So looking at the trade here, I mean, this isn't going to influence my trade too much, but I'm mainly going to look for a sell here. If it's for a sell, I'll probably take it. If it's for a buy, I'm probably going to sit out of it because it looks like the buys here are kind of split down the middle. Actually, I don't know why I even did that. The percentage is right here. I did the math myself, but the percentage is actually right here. There's actually a column for it. Okay, cool. So yeah, looking at this right here, it looks good. Yeah, Chris said I was gonna say the percentage is right there. That's okay. So yeah, now we have it there. All right, so this is actually really cool because the percentage is right there for you. So I might add that to our list of things here. I'll add a step 7 now. So this is great. I'm glad that I shared this tool with you guys because with more eyes on my algo here, we're just gonna keep getting better and better and better at everything with regard to identifying high quality, high probable entries. So right here, I'm going to go down to step 7 and then identify probability for buy versus sell. Pretty nice. Go checklist, save that. Here, I'll put this checklist over here as well in the Discord for those of you who are curious. Okay, cool. So that looks good right there. I'll be looking for that 752 entry a little later. Sam over here caught this. Let's see, boom, boom, full TP, break and retest plus MPS V2. Nice work. Okay, so looking at this real quick, let's see. So Sam over here identified an MPS V2 for the sell, looks like. I'm assuming it was a sell. Yeah, sell signal, retracement, confirmation. Yeah, nice little move right there. Quick, like 25 points. And then another one right here too to the upside. A little bit of a choppy market, so I'm glad to see you guys are still locking into pretty good profit here. Well, we're in a chop right now. So this is my main chart. Price just going back and forth. I can mark up some structure here, of course. Here, let me see. I'll mark up some market structure for you guys right now. I haven't really done this in a while, but I think this will be kind of useful to have so that you guys can kind of see where price is moving. So you got a resistance up there. Resistance turn support right there. I'll just mark structure with red. I don't think it really matters, what color we do it, as long as you guys can see it as a structure. Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything crazy here. Okay, so I got market structure pretty much marked up over here. You can kind of see where price is ranging. It's pretty much ranging between these support and resistance levels. What else do I got here? We have some, so there is this is an imbalance. Price pretty much broke below structure, right? Or it broke below the imbalance, retested. I think I should probably color the imbalance a different, or I mean, I guess I could just color these different. So there's just some sort of idea of like where the balances are likely to happen. So we got some support levels right here. So we got the support levels down here. We have the resistance up here. We have an imbalance right here. Price kind of just going back and forth between this area. It's basically ranging right down the middle. So that entry that I'm looking for at 752 could be nice if we get a little bit higher. So what I would like to see here is maybe, price kind of range within this area and then come back down from here. Because if that's the case, then, we get in right there. And again, like I said before, I don't like to use outside analysis. I just want to go based off the algo data, so based off the quantitative data. But this here is going to give us a nice confluence of, possible continuation to the downside. Another thing that can happen here is price can break below structure, retest, and then come back down from there. And that's kind of where our entry could also happen. But again, I don't really care what's happening here, right? I just care what happens when it gets down to our actual entry time, which is going to be in about 20 minutes. So we'll follow it. Let's see. Sam said, Sean, I like you don't trade market structure. Your trading gives me something new and possibilities market can provide. Yeah, I think just trading off the data, it's a whole different playing field, right? I don't think, well, I mean, for the most part, there's barely anybody out there that actually does this, right? I feel like a lot of people they trade based off well, because the whole retail trader perspective is really to trade off, if you sign up for any course or you see how anybody else trades out there who's a retail trader, all retail traders trade market structure, they trade technical analysis, they trade, the basic stuff. We kind of tap into another market where it's not really based off any price structure, right? So like typically someone who trades like a retail trader and there's nothing wrong with this type of trading. This is just a different type of trading style. A normal retail trader will look at this as a resistance, right? Let's go over here. So a normal retail trader will say, okay, this is a resistance or this is an imbalance. So they're looking for price to come up here and bounce off this point, right? Their entry point is going to be off this price, right? So they're like, oh, if price comes up to 46,790, they're going to take their sell right there, which is completely fine. That's one way of trading. That's a style of trading. But with us here, we're trading off the data. So we don't really care about where price is at. We just care about the time because the data here shows me that at this specific time, 752, it has a 68% chance of it continuing with momentum. That's where I'm looking to take the trade. And the thing with this data here is that this data pulls like there's no here's the problem with discretionary strategies, right? So a lot of people like to trade discretionary off price. The problem with this here is that there's too much discretion involved, right? Like you can think, okay, I'll take this if it bounces. Like you'll say if it bounces, right? But it's not going to be exact. Like for example, right here, this here bounced off a specific price point, which is at 746, 796. If I was trying to get in at that exact price, then okay, great. That would make it more of a quantitative type strategy. But the difference with a lot of people is they're just looking for a rejection, right? They see a rejection here and they're like, okay, if price rejects off here, then I'll take the sell. And that just creates inconsistency with the data. So for me personally, I like trading off the data because you can't make up this data. The data is set in place. You just put your settings in here and it shows every single trade at 752, right? So there's no, like for me, I don't care about price. You can see the price entry is always going to be slightly different. But what I care about is that it enters at the same exact time, 752, 752, 752 every single day for the past 2, 3 weeks. And this shows me that there's something happening at 752, right? My algorithm tells me that pretty much every day at 752, something happens in the market. And this indicates that this is where the big players are playing, right? This is where the institutions, like for whatever reason, they chose to trade at 752, right? All the institutions and the market makers, they all call each other up and like, hey, let's take a trade at 752. Let's push price up or let's push price down. And what we're doing here is like, so for example, for these trades over here, this is such a random time to take an entry, right? 627. Like, when would you ever think like, okay, I'm gonna enter a trade at 627, right? It's such a random time. But what happens here is we basically caught this move before it actually even happened, right? So this entry over here was at 627. What we did is we basically rode the momentum, right? The institutions over here started to inch price up. You can see price was kind of just climbing a little bit. And then at 627, that's when the market makers are like, or market makers, institutions, hedge funds, they're like, okay, we're going to enter buys at 627. For whatever reason, they decided 627, we're going to move price. And at 627, that's where the entry happened and it shot straight up, right? And then it continued. Obviously, you can probably go higher, but you can see we caught the push to the upside before it even happened. The entry was right here. It's a random, like super random place to take entry. But my algorithm here was able to identify this exact point in time where, these bigger players decided to make their move. So that's why this here is very, very powerful in a sense, because we're able to see things that majority of people can't see, right? We're identifying historical data where price moves and where it's moving right now. So the thing, we talked about this yesterday. I think a couple people asked about, if we can go back farther in data. The thing is the you don't want to go too far in data. Like, yes, I can go farther back. Like if I want to go back 90 days or a whole year, I could do that. But it doesn't really matter to me what happened, 30 days ago or 60 days ago or a year ago, because the edge isn't always going to be there, right? The institutions aren't always going to move price at 627. Like right now, okay, price is probably move at 627 for like the past 2 or 3 weeks. But 2 or 3 weeks later, the hedge funds and institutions and all these other big players in the market, they're not going to keep trading at this time. They're going to change the time, right? Like, okay, let's not trade at 627. Let's now trade at 636 for whatever reason. And the cool thing is that my algo over here is going to identify that. So every day I'm running my algo, right? I'm running it every single day. And every day I'm going to get the numbers here. So we'll see how the numbers shift. We might, like for today, we're looking at a trade at 752. 2 weeks from now, this trade might be at 756, or it might be at 745, or it might be at 742. The good thing is that the algo is going to be on point and it's going to be tracking momentum. So we'll know exactly where we're going to shift our entry to. We're not going to take entries at 752 every single day for the whole year. I mean, if you want to take it for the whole year, here, I'll pull the data. So 752, let's go back 90 days. So let's go back 90 days. And let's just see if this same entry at 752 still hits over a 90-day period. The thing with this here is that you just need to be profitable above 33%, right? Anything above 33% is going to be profitability. Because this is a 1 to 2 risk reward, we're doing 40/20. The report is updating right now. I'm just really curious to see what the numbers look like for a 90-day period. And you can kind of see, like, I'll show you how the momentum shifts and it's like where it becomes an unprofitable time over longer periods of data. So the report's updating. What it's doing right now is it's running through all of the possible entries for the past 90 days because I set it to 90 days there. So here we go as it updates. Um, Let's see. Blanco said this is the first time I see this type of trading like based on momentum like that, at least at retail level. Yeah. I don't know anybody else who trades momentum like how I do. I've been trading momentum for a long time, but this is where I'm actually using the data to identify, the probabilities. But I've been trading momentum like pretty much my whole trading career. This just kind of, I was already doing pretty well with just momentum. Now that I have the data behind it for the quants, the quantitative data, this just kind of put our strategy on steroids basically. Because we were doing pretty good. I mean, if you look at my entries and my trades for the year, we were doing pretty good, but now we're doing, I mean, it's like twofold. It's crazy. It's like night and day with the stats and whatnot. So let me see my trader sync if it's updated. I think it has. Okay, so I got all my stats over here. I'm gonna take a screenshot of my profits in a second. Okay, so looking at the data over here, the data just uploaded for the 90-day period. You can see if you wanted to take this trade every single day at 752, the I mean, it's still profitable. Obviously, I wouldn't take these types of odds. These aren't not my kind of odds. You can see over here during this period. This is why I say like it doesn't like it wouldn't really matter to go that far back in data because you can see over here this time sucked at like seven or between August. So basically from August 7th up until September 16th, it was in drawdown. So the thing is, the algo identified that we started to find profitability more recently, right? Which is right here. Basically from September 17th up until today, October 9th, it's been in a very upwards trend. So that's why for me, I only pull data within the first 2 months or the first, basically month or two. Because if you go too far back, the strategy just isn't that great. So that's why our profitability is like so super, super high because we typically, we stay in line with the market and we adapt with what's working at the time. So you can see here, it's still profitable, but it's not, I wouldn't take these odds. I only want to take trades that have above a 65% probability. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys the real numbers there so that you guys can have an idea of like what's to come. So 7:42 right now, we got about 10 minutes until market reaches our point of entry. Here are my stats for the let me see if I got them over here. Let me drag this over. So I'm gonna show you guys my profits for the day. I locked in pretty good, made up my trades from or my profit from yesterday, I guess. I don't know if all my trades copied over, but it's fine. Let me put this over here. All right, so here are my stats for the week, guys. So, or let me just drag this over real quick. I need to make sure that, let me just make sure the numbers are right before I carry this over. Looks like for one of mine over here, they're kind of off. Let me check what my stats are for the last couple days. I kind of hate how like, I mean, it happens, but I hate how like TraderSync has, sometimes it like doubles up on, on the trades that get uploaded. I'm gonna update my TraderSync real quick. Okay, so I think everything here is good. Let me just update year to date. Okay, I think it's good now for the most part. Okay, so let me just drag this over real quick. Okay, here are my stats for the month and for the year so far. So these are my trades for the day. I took just one trade at the 6 o'clock. So here are our stats for the day. I only took this one right here at 6 o'clock, guys. Here are my profits. Obviously, I took a partial. I was confused why my profits were so small. It was because of the partial. I didn't write it to the full move. If I took it for the full move, it would have been closer to like 40,000. But I locked in 27,875 for the day right here. So those are my profits for the day, and for the week, I'm up 103,895. And then for the year so far, I'm currently up 918,540 gross, 798,240 net, because obviously fees, commissions, etc. That stuff adds up. Um, but yeah, these are my stats. So I pretty much documented every single trade from this year, January 2nd up until today, October 10th, and those are my profits. So I mean, it's been a pretty great year and a pretty good month overall. All of these trades here are based off the algo. So like our trade right here on the ninth, unfortunately, we only took one trade. If I was to take two trades on this day, this would have been green and we would have continued our win streak. We've been on a pretty nice win streak. We had wins from the 29th to the 30th. So it's basically a 7 day win streak. And then unfortunately, I took one trade here, only one trade, and I lost. I didn't get a second trade. So if I entered that second trade, it would have bounced back because the second trade did win. And then today I only took one trade here at 6 o'clock. I'm looking to maybe take that trade at 7:52 again. We're going to look at the statistics here. The sells here look better than the buys. So if we get a sell here, maybe I'll take it. If it's a buy, probably going to sit out of it. But again, I'm actually I'm pretty satisfied with my profitability for this week. So I don't know if I'll take this trade at 7:52. I'll let you guys know. It just kind of depends on like the direction of price. The one thing that I'm most concerned about here is the fact that price here is consolidating, right? I don't like the fact that it's consolidating back and forth like this. Even though we're going off the data, I don't like the fact that there's no direction because, our strategy is momentum based. So we have to have, or we should have some sort of direction here at least. And if there's no direction here, then it's better to just kind of sit out of it than to take the trade. So I'm not saying that I'm going to sit out of it yet, but depending on the direction, ideally I'd like to see a sell. And ideally I'd like to see some direction of price, like some sort of momentum push in a direction. Because if you look over here for my stats, it is a 68.42% win ratio, but it won two out of the three Fridays. So it does make it a little bit of a tricky opportunity for entry. Yeah, Talanji said that the MPS is definitely still very valid with great confidence. I wonder how complex the MPS V2 algo would be. So the MPS V2 algo shouldn't be too difficult. The only problem that I can think of with the algo is that there's going to be a lot of entries, right? And there's going to be a lot of entries that overlap. So I think that's going to be a little tricky. The thing with this specific strategy is that it comes up once a day, so it's a lot easier to just get the quantitative data on it. But when you have like 20 entries, like for example, how many momentum signals do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So think about 12 or 20 MPS entries that are going to be documented, right? The numbers aren't going to be good because there's so many momentum signals that come up. So I don't know if that's going to be something that could really be, I mean, it could be made, but we won't be able to like have like really good data on it. I think the data is going to be super skewed because there's too many momentum signals here. I would probably have to set it up on like a higher time frame or something like that. Because the data is going to be super skewed, right? If you have 20 entries, like how many of those are going to be wins, how many of those are going to be losses, and also how many of those are going to be overlapping. So it's going to be hard to pick one specific entry. I think the better way of doing it is to use the momentum algo over here to identify the direction. And if your MPS goes in the direction of the momentum algo, then it can improve your probability of it hitting. Yeah, so that's something we might, we'll cross that bridge when we get to that point. But right now it's just going to be a little too difficult because there's too many entries that come up. If we could do it to like once a day, then perfect. But if it comes up like 20 times within an hour period, it's going to be really difficult to put together. Lila is asking, where do we enter, please? It's going to be at 7:52 candle close, Lila, but we're looking for a sell there because the probabilities are higher for a sell versus a buy. It's looking like it's going to be a buy though, so I might just skip out on this trade because I'm pretty satisfied with my profits for the day already. Yeah, Blanco said market makers at 7:52. Yeah, hello, yeah, what's up? Y'all ready to push Sean into the profits? Yeah. So here's the crazy thing. When the hedge fund is up and running for the public again, guys, it's gonna be it's gonna be pretty crazy because I'm gonna be executing like, 1,000 contracts at a time. So if I'm executing like 1,000 contracts at a time, it might be enough to like to send waves in the market and people will piggyback on our trade. So if you're trading with Apex or you're trading with a prop firm, it's not going to make that impact because it doesn't get executed on the real market. But with the hedge fund, I'm trading real live accounts with real live contracts. So with that being the case, if you guys follow order flow or if you guys look at footprints, you're going to see like 1,000 contracts entering at 752, right? And if you see 1,000 contracts entering for a sell at 752, you're going to see a lot of people try to piggyback on my ride because you don't usually see like 1,000 contracts come in at once. You think about it. So like, let's say for on average, everyone's applying 5 contracts, right? And say I have 200 hedge fund clients. I'll be dropping 1,000 contracts at any given moment. So you see 1,000 contracts get dropped in, for a sell, everybody's going to try to chase that. Nobody's going to go against 1,000 contracts. Like, why would you go against 1,000 contracts, right? You want to go with the 1,000 contracts. So it's going to be pretty. I'm curious to see how the market's going to react to like my entries, because if I'm entering that many contracts, and then in the future, once people start taking bigger contract sizes, you think about it, it's going to be pretty nuts. Because if I'm doing like 10 contracts per client, and we have 200 clients, that's 2,000 contracts being executed at one given point in time. At that point, I'm probably going to be moving with the market makers and the institutions because they're probably dropping the same amount of contracts as well. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. All right, guys, the entry is going to happen right now in about. I'm not going to take it. It's a buy entry. So I'm not going to take this 752 entry. If you guys want to take it, I mean, feel free to take it. You guys can take it at your own risk. I'm not going to say that this trade's not going to work because the data obviously shows that it's still there's a probability of it working. The thing is, the probability isn't high enough. If it was a sell, then okay, great. But it's not a sell, it's a buy because this is going with momentum. So this candle is going to close in about 10 seconds. In about 5 seconds, you can take this here for a buy if you want to. And the candle is closing right about now. So right here is a long position. If you guys want to take it, again, take it at your own risk. I will follow it for you guys here, but I'm not in the position. So I'm gonna step away for 1 second, guys. I'm gonna grab some water. All right, guys, I'm back. Let's see. PC said 1,000 contracts won't fill at the same price. Yeah, that's fine because we're not entering at the same price, PC. We're entering at a time. So it doesn't matter what price is. We're all going to get in at the same time. It's the momentum's going to push up. Usually it pushes past the target anyway. So even if we're off by like a few points, it's still going to hit, right? Or if the other ones have to get pulled out earlier, that's fine too. But yeah, we're not entering based off a specific price, so it doesn't matter. We're all entering off market. Let me go up real quick. Sorry, well, I just saw your message, so unfortunately I can't go back to that. He said, can you go back to the period of time what that was in drawdown and look at what was the best time? That that would be like I'd have to go back and do some. It would just take too long for me to do that, Will. Like to go back in data because I'd have to go back to that specific time, and then I would have to figure out what the exact time period is. Right? We can't go back in time to run the algo. The algo doesn't run off historical data. I mean, like you can't go and replay and then run the algo. You can only do it with what's currently active. So yeah, if I had the algo data, like for example, I post all of the information over here with the trades. If I had the algo data around that period, then I could look back at it, but I don't have it because I wasn't trading I didn't have the algo back in August. So I think moving forward will be cool. Moving forward would make sense. Let's see. Make Millions is asking, what's the safe lot size to use on a 100K FTMO for this strategy, Sean? What's your max drawdown for FTMO? I'm not familiar with it. So what you would do is you would do this. I don't know what the max drawdown would be. I'm assuming, what is it, like 5%, right? I'm assuming it's 5,000. I mean, I could be wrong, but if it's 5%, it'll be like 5,000. Because I think you have to make 10% and you can only risk 5%, right? So if that's 5,000, then you would divide this by 8. So this is how much you should risk per trade. So if 625 is your risk, then I think that's what, like, 4 contracts? No, it's a little more. 6 times 5 times 40. No, it's fucking way too high. 5 times 5 times 40. That's still, oh shit, my bad. I did the numbers wrong. Okay, so you probably want to risk about like 6 contracts, or I guess it'd be 6 lots for you. I think that's the proper number. Because if you were to do 6 lots or 6 contracts, you'd risk 600. So in order for you to blow your account on FTMO, you'd have to have like over 8 back-to-back losses, which is probably never going to happen, right? You're probably never going to have that because because if that's the case, then this just would never happen. You're basically making it impossible for you to blow your account because we never have eight back-to-back losses. Damn, look at this crazy, crazy spike right here. Good thing we didn't take that trade. Holy shit, what's going on? Yeah, something's happening, guys. Crazy spike. Look at that. 200 points within seconds. Whew. Whew. Good thing we didn't take that trade there. That would have pissed me off. Damn, this thing's dumping. Something's going on, guys. Let's see. Where's CNBC? This thing dropped like 400 points right now. I mean, something crazy had to happen, guys. There's got to be something crazy happening because there's no news. Oh man, look at that. See, this would have been cool if we were in a sell. If we were in a sell, I would have been like, oh hell yeah, this would have like hit my slippage and went straight through even deeper. That's why, we looked at the data. The sells here actually work better. I mean, technically, if you wanted to take the opposite trade, you could have taken the opposite trade. You probably wouldn't even need to base it off momentum. Damn, that's a crazy spike. Look at that spike. Uh, damn, 300, almost 400 points, and it's still dumping. Okay, well, I'm glad I'm done trading for the day because I don't want to get caught up in this. What the? What the? 400 points, guys, within seconds. Kim entered the sell. Nice. So Kim actually got the sell. And Lod got the sell as well. Yeah, that's crazy. 400 points within like, man, that is crazy. Well, whatever. See, this is what I mean. Like the market's so, I mean, this isn't random because obviously the algo identified a sell. The algo already predicted a sell would have been good here, but we didn't have the sell, so I didn't take it. But this thing is dumping like, geez, 400 points basically. Like for there to be this much, this is a lot of volume, guys, to push price this much, 400 points. I don't see any breaking news. Come on, CNBC, give me something. It's probably happening so fast, they don't have time to report on anything. I don't have any breaking news from Bloomberg. I don't have anything happening right now. The last update was 47 minutes ago. Obviously, something's happening. I know like Israel is having a ceasefire right now with Gaza. I don't know if like maybe someone broke the ceasefire and like now the US has to intervene into the war or something like that. I don't know. There's um there's no news updates. Let me check Bloomberg. Let's see. Breaking news from Bloomberg. No, this was 30 minutes ago. Nothing important. This thing is dropping down 500 points, guys. This is damn. All right. Well, I don't care because I'm not in a position. Let me just answer the questions real quick. So Ark is asking, so Sean, we're not trading. So Sean, we are not trading live with us taking your trades. This trade was taken live today. Ark, the one trade that we took was taken live. You just got to get on the live sessions on time, like earlier, because I show my times for entries here and I get on at those times. So I mean, everybody took this trade with me, and we all hit this one at 6 o'clock. I'm not sure when you got on the live today, Arik, but we've been getting on a little bit earlier for the entries. I mean, if you want to take the trades yourself, you can, if you have the indicators, you can do it yourself. But if you don't and you just want to follow what I'm taking here, we did get live for this one right here. Well, I've been live since like I don't know, 5:50, 5:40, before 6 o'clock, because this entry came up at 6 and we were already ready to take that by the time came up. Let me scroll down a little bit. Daniel said we're going to surf your hedge fund profits. Positions, yeah, exactly. That's what we're going to be doing. Um, yeah, Josh said spike through Asia and London sessions. Nedra took the sell on NQ. Nice. Yeah, Michael said, sure, why not? No news, no reason, but the market's not manipulated. I know, it's a crazy spike right there. Lila said I was in a dental appointment and got stuck in a cell. Thank God. So Lila over here actually took the cell. So that's why you were asking when to enter, huh, Lila? I was wondering why you were asking that because you don't usually ask that question. It was because you're at the dentist. So Lila over here was at the dentist and she just realized that she was in the position for a sell. She took it and she locked in some pretty massive profits. So nice work right here, Lila. Lila locked in 2000. Damn it. Let me drag this over. Oh, it's not dragging. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so Lila over here locked in. She took that sell there. She locked in 2056. Great work right there, Lila. Good mistake right there, right? Lila said, is Trump going to the hospital this morning for his second checkup of the year? Let's see. Ark said, I mean, in the future, you say we have to purchase. Sorry, Ark, I'm not sure what you're referring to. So you don't have to have the indicators at all. I mean, if you want the indicators, you can have them. But if you're just following me live, you could take the trades with me live because I'm still going to be trading live. Nothing here is going to change. Like our morning sessions are still going to be the same. I mean, the thing is, I have to be awake anyways, and I have to be like really in tune with the market. So I'm going to still go live and trade with you guys, even though I'm running the hedge fund and I'm taking these trades here. And if you guys want to follow, you guys are more than welcome. So. It's up to you, Ark. If you want to have the indicators and you want to do this, the thing is, it's kind of a lot of work. So I don't know, if you're willing to do the work to pull up these trades yourself. I mean, you can make a lot more profit. To be honest, you can make a lot of profit if you use the algo yourself, like way more than what I'm doing, right? Because I skip out on a lot of trades, but um, if you want to do the work yourself, you can. It's an option, but you don't have to. I'm still going to be trading live like we do every morning. So. Yeah, it's up to you, Art. It's up to you. At some point in the future, if you think, oh, I want to make some more money on my own, or if you want to trade something else like gold, ES, NQ, whatever the other assets are, you can watch the video where I explain how to use the algo, and you can do it yourself. But it's not required. Blanco said, I almost had a sell on, but didn't want to, didn't, he was waiting for the regular move. Oh Lord, I could already see the 200 Reddit posts from today to Sunday, people saying, what the fuck happened to my account? It got blown. That's crazy. Yeah. So Justin, thanks for the heads up. So Justin over here, he said that Trump threatened to impose massive tariff hikes on Chinese goods. Just came in. Maybe it could be affecting the markets. Yeah, I 100% agree. Because if they're going to be doing that, it's not good for the market. More tariffs are not going to be good for the market. So that might have been the case. Thanks, Justin, for the heads up on that. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see it on CNBC, but yeah, wherever you saw that day, let's go to BizTalk real quick. Um, yeah, I don't see anything, any updates for me specifically. So this is what I was talking about earlier, like I mentioned, there's a ceasefire in Gaza right now. This is the only thing I could have thought of that could have caused the drop. But like now that Justin has mentioned that Trump is basically, I'm curious, where'd you see the data at, Justin? I was trying to pull it up to see, but I don't even see it here anywhere. I'm assuming maybe you're on Trump's on his Truth app. I need to download that Truth app because Trump posts stuff on there all the time, and I don't have it. But that was a pretty random spike to the downside. I mean, technically it's still dropping from here. Anyways, let me take a screenshot of my profits for the day, and then we will okay, Rashida said she saw it in S&P Capital. It was also on Truth Social. Okay. That's what I figured. I gotta download that app. Let's see, Trader Sync. I'm just gonna take a screenshot of my account so I can show you what my profits are for the day. I don't want to go in like, I mean, it's easier for me to just show you on here. Performance for the calendar. All right. Oops. Man, this has been a crazy month, guys. I just realized like I almost made, well, I made a pretty good chunk of my profits just this month because this algo has been, it's been crazy. I was like you know, it's an understatement to say that this algo has been doing numbers because this thing's, I mean, just look at my numbers right now, guys. I'm honestly in disbelief that the algo is this accurate. We basically would have had all the green days here if I didn't like if I took a second trade on Thursday. The thing is the trade was at like it was like a minute after, so I couldn't take it. But like this thing stopped us out, and then the trade after it hit full TP. So like man, it's just crazy. Like I feel like we just entered the trading matrix with this algo because we're basically trading like a legit hedge fund, right? We're trading off the quant data. We're not trading off price action. We're not trading off technical analysis. Like nothing about this strategy is retail. This is all like how, quants and these bigger companies trade. They're just trading based off the data. And that's what we're doing. The crazy thing is we're not even looking at like what's happening on the chart. We're looking at what's happening in the data. And you guys can see I made a big improvement here from October. So September, I took a little bit of a slump. We were checking the orb entry. Unfortunately, the orb just hasn't been very accurate with the retest. And we adapted to the algo over here, and this thing's been it's been doing numbers to the upside like crazy. So those are my gross profits for the year. And I'm just really excited to see where we close this month out. Like I'm really curious to see where this number is going to get to, because we're barely in week 2 of October, and we have we still have 3 weeks left to make some, some pretty crazy strides in the market. And I'm excited because you guys are here with me too. It's like, if I was to do this by myself, it'd be kind of boring, right? I'd just be getting excited by myself. I'll be here in my office just like being all excited by my lonesome. But since you guys are here with me, it's cool because you guys we're all experiencing this together. And the thing is, I'm not the only person profiting. You guys are profiting with me. So it's like it's a win-win for all of us. I profit, you profit, we all profit. And then we also get to really learn the data here. Like thanks to David here. David, huge thanks to you because bro, if you didn't tell me about the profitability for the buys and the sells, I probably would have taken the buy here and I probably would have lost. And I probably would have been punching air right now because I would have been like, damn, I basically threw away my profits from 6 a.m. because I took a loss here. So I'm super, super grateful that you mentioned that today because thanks to you, we skipped out on a loss here. That was big. That was a big tip. Let's see. So Dylan said just added Purdy account on Ninja. How do I fix the delayed data? So Dylan, log into your Purdy account on the website and then go over to your account settings and then activate market data. I know it's super annoying. They don't tell you that. And like that's what happened with me too when I first opened my Purdy account. I was like, why are none of my trades executing on delayed data? And it's because you have to go into the settings and activate your data. They don't actually tell you that. You have to like figure out what to do. Let's see. Smith is asking, what day did you start trading the algo? On the 29th. So literally just on Monday of last week. So Monday of last week, I started putting these lists of trades and we've been taking them. So basically, and we've been on a win streak. So like basically, so nine out of 9 days, eight of them have been profitable. Typically, I like to take two trades per day. Like for example, yesterday I only took one, but yeah, I try to take like two trades per day, and it's been on fire. Going from the 29th to the 30th, both green days right there, and then pretty much green days for the first week of October, and then the second week as well. Let me here, I'm gonna share my stats over here. All right, copy this over. So here are my stats for October. Pretty nuts. I'll put this over here as well in the announcements and then official profits as well. All right, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. It is 8:13 right now, so it's about time to get off the live session. Michael said, LOL, I have a heavy bag in my office, hoping I'll need it less once I learn this algo better. Yeah, exactly, Michael. I'm hoping so too. My hope is that everybody here kills it with this algo. There's enough money to go around. Um, I'm probably not looking to share this with the general public. So, there's like about like 26 of you guys here. So I'm cool with sharing this algo with 26 of you guys. Maybe not for the hundreds or thousands of people out there, but with you guys, we're good. You guys can use my algo and we could all make money off this. Rashida said, I can't wait to test Asia London this weekend. Yeah, so I would say for Asia London, check it out with NQ and then probably gold because those assets work well in those time periods, not as much as YM. Let me just grab my daughter real quick, guys, and I'll wrap it up with the questions. I just realized I got the Ray-Ban Metas. I'm gonna like take a video of my daughter with my Ray-Bans. She gets super excited when she sees me in the morning, so she's in her little crib right now. These Ray-Ban Metas are pretty cool. Let's see. Maybe turn on when I'm with my phone. All right, I'm gonna go take a video of my daughter seeing me. Hi, baby girl. Let's see what we did for the day. She wanted to see what we did for the day. What kind of profits did we lock in, baby girl? Wow, look at that, huh? Look at that. All right, guys, let me see if there's any more questions. But yeah, so here are my stats for the month so far. I'm up 302,000 for the month of October. That's pretty nuts. And then for the year so far, I am currently up, where are we at? 918,000. So my goal, I talked about this at the beginning of the year. I said, okay, let's try to hit a million for the year. I think this is very possible. We have a couple weeks or a couple months left of the year. So I think it's doable. This algo is gonna really push us to that point. But let me see if there's any more questions here before we log off. Thanks, guys. Yeah, everyone said that she's so cute, Future's princess. I know this girl's gonna take over the business. So like when I'm done trading, which is probably never gonna happen, but it's gonna continue with Alina over here. She'll be over here. So when you get older, you gotta be a quant. You gotta learn math and and all this stuff so she can make the algo even better. The crazy thing is that this algo is never really gonna go out of edge because it's based directly off momentum. So we'll keep improving it and we'll keep going from there. But yeah, definitely. Let me see if there's any other questions here from you guys before we log off. Okay, so let's see. Question from Will. Will is asking, what makes you confident this will work in the future? Maybe it's a dumb question, but your data is 19 days. Will it be possible that in the next month it's only 40 to 50%? Okay, so I think that's a common misconception. Like I just mentioned earlier, this is based off momentum, right? So the thing is, there's always going to be momentum in the market. It's not like the strategies that you're used to, Will. Like, you're used to applying trades off price action and market structure, right? The thing with that is that, price isn't always going to react at a certain price point, and it's not always going to react at a certain price structure. The thing is, we're basing it off momentum, so we're not really identifying any reversals or anything like that. We're just riding momentum. So if, we identify that price is moving at a certain time, we're just riding that momentum. If price moves down here, say for example, if price moves at 757 every day for the past 19 days, don't you think tomorrow price is going to move at that same exact price point? So going back to like your question about, the sample doesn't matter. You want to know what's happening within the first couple weeks or within the week's time, right? Because the thing is, what's happening today it goes exactly in line with what you just mentioned. What if the market's doing something different 19 days from now? Of course, it's going to do something different, right? Why would it be doing the same thing 19 days from now? That's why the algo is updating every single day. Does that make sense? So, like right now, we care about what's happening today and what's been happening a week from now or a week from today because we're seeing a pattern in the market, right? So, like for example, our trade over here at 6 o'clock every day for the past 19 days, it goes bullish or whatever. It goes in the direction of momentum. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, 19 days later, like say in November. So in November, the algo is going to provide different times, right? Every day it's running the data and it's figuring out where is price moving. So what we're doing is we're pretty much just walking, we're following the data and we're just riding momentum. So we're not predicting where price is going to go. We're just riding the momentum. If price goes, like for example, right now it is 819. If my algo says that price goes with momentum at 819, what we're doing is we're just riding the wave, right? We talked about how we're kind of just surfing the profits, and that's literally what we're doing here. We don't care about what's going to happen later. We care about what's happening right now, and we're just riding that momentum with it. Like if price says it drops at this point every Friday for like the past 3 months, and I'm just going to ride that momentum versus and I think, and that's like the misconception, right? It's like you're trying to think, like for example, your strategy. I think you applied it's like fair value gaps. The thing is, if you look at fair value gaps, they're not always working, right? They only work sometimes of the year because it's seasonal, and it's based off like price structure and price action. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, Will said, okay, I see. I'm so used to price action, so that's maybe why. Yeah. So the thing with us is we're just following price. We're tracking where price is moving, and then we're just piggybacking those rides. We're not exactly looking for price to reach like, say, for example, 46.20, 240, right? We don't care about price. We just care about where price is moving at a specific time. Miriam said, I've been following Sean since COVID. Seeing him become a dad makes me so happy. Thanks, Miriam. I know a lot of you guys here have been trading with me for years now, right? We've been trading live for 8 years now. So you guys have seen me kind of evolve over the years. I'm now a dad, so priorities have kind of changed. Alina is kind of the reason why I came up with the algo because I was like, man, this baby's expensive. And she's gonna get everything she wants. So I gotta figure out more ways to make more money. In an efficient way, right? So efficiently here, I'm taking less or more trades, but I'm doing less work here because I'm able to just kind of lock in these profits with high probability. I think after having a kid, I've been like less more risky, and I'm looking for more of consistency and and probability, of course, probability of winning trades. Because if you look back, so let's just go back to my stats for the year. So if we go back over here, you can see I was taking a lot more risk earlier in the year. Let's go to January. So in January, I was taking some pretty big risks back then. Let's load it up. Let's go to January real quick. So you can see over here, I was taking a bit more risk because I just didn't really care. Like, when you're like more carefree, you're able to take more risk. And I was able to take more trades here at higher risk because I was doing like a negative risk reward, or I was doing like a 1-to-1. But as I progressed, and Alina was born in July, um, you can see I became a little more conservative with my trades. A little more conservative. I started taking less trades, started taking less risk. August, I barely took any trades here because I was worried about losing money. I was worried about just winning all the time. But now that I have probabilities on my side, having her kind of just helped me improve on that. So yeah, life changes. Life changes, priorities change as well. And you just gotta have you have to adapt with it. Um, Harmony said, "Your daughter is so cute." Thanks, Harmony. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, definitely. I like bringing her on the live stream. It's always fun to see how she reacts because there's so many screens right here, and she's looking at all the colors. She's like, "Oh, this is so bright," and I think she gets excited when she sees everything. Probably even when she sees you guys' messages. Smith is asking, "How did you decide to go with 3 weeks or so of data?" So unfortunately, I wanted to go more, but TradingView only gives me a max of this much data. So I don't know if you were on the session yesterday, Smith, but you could change the number here. So minimum trades, if I go up any higher, you'll see that my algo is gonna basically be blank. So say if I want to go for like 30 days, right? So TradingView, it's a good platform, but it's not very powerful when it comes back to, running an algo or running backtesting. It's good for what it does, but like if I update this, it's not going to show up. This is going to just disappear basically. It's going to give an error. Yeah, I would say watch yesterday's session because I kind of went over and see right here. Smith, there's nothing there, right? So unfortunately, it's not my algo, but it's TradingView. TradingView can't go that far back in data. So I have it set here to 15, and it gives me the data for like the past 20 trades or so. So I basically go as far as I can. But yeah, that's I got to work with what we got here on TradingView specifically. So, okay, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. I'm probably not going to be on the computer for a while. This is Alina's playtime, so she's ready to play. I'm gonna go take her for a walk right now after I change her. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. We had an amazing week, guys. Great week. For the most part, majority wins. I just one loss yesterday overall for the day, and pretty much green every single other day for this week. But yeah, I'm hoping we can keep this going, guys. We have 3 weeks left in October. I'm hoping to have all green here and make even more profit here as we progress. So, all right, guys, that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, have a great weekend, guys. Go enjoy your weekend. Go enjoy your weekend. Come back excited for the next trading week. If you guys have access to the algo, do your research, do your work, and come back with your trades ready for Monday.